or liberation just have vastly different understandings of what liberation is for.
I haven't seen this much importance and attention.
The story itself is a really wonderful, really great setup.
Tractor beam has been engaged.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews, your one-stop shop for in-depth commentary and discussion on this week's Star Wars comics. It is Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. It's the 31st week of comics in 2025. I'm Matthew. I'm back from San Diego Comic-Con. I've got Con Crud. I'm here. Well, we'll try and keep it 45 minutes or so, because I'm going to go watch Star Trek and then go to bed. That's Chris Abbott. How's it going, Chris? Welcome back to Tractor Beam.
Great. Hopefully, God forbid it's not COVID, because that's what happened when I came back from San Diego. So hopefully you're not as bad as I was, where I was out of work for several days. But
yeah, I was definitely, by the Wednesday night, I was congested. Who knows what? It's how it is. It's San Diego Comic-Con. It's its own, as I've discovered, it's its own wonderful, unique, wild, stressful thing. Anyway, this is Tractor Beam Comics Reviews. We're chatting about stuff. Oh yeah, Crystal Crown. There we go. Happy book birthday +1 to Tessa Grattan on that one. We'll get the plugs out of the way first. You can follow us mainly on Blue Sky at Ion Cannon. That's ioncannon.bisky.social. That's of course for Joel and my not flagship, other podcast, bisky.social, but also everything, all my photos from Comic-Con, credit to Ben Hart, the Star Wars guy. I would take some photos on my phone and then send them off, and he would throw them up on Instagram at the SWU and at Culture Slate, and they're all there for all their glory. So massive shout out to Ben for really being on the ball with it. I just be in the panels and he just sends stuff.
How did it feel being like working at a convention? Because that's essentially what you're doing.
I'm kind of used to it.
Was anybody there else representing like the Culture Slate people or anything?
No, it was just me.
That's insane, because there is like a lot of pictures. So.
Yeah, I probably took too much. I probably would have done better just to sit back and relax a bit more. But first Comic-Con, I did get pretty much everything I wanted to do, which is astounding.
Incredible, because there's probably people that have been there for like 10 years seen Hall H, because they're like, I'm not going to brave that line.
Yeah, so anyway, we'll get into that, especially Joel and I will get into that on Monday. We'll get into a bit of Comic-Con news today, but we got 3 books to dive into. But yeah, so check out at Culture Slate at the SWU. Some Star Wars stuff on Culture Slate, but mostly Star Trek. But lots of Star Wars stuff on at the SWU, including the maker George Lucas. Of course, Twitter and Instagram, Threads on all the places at Iron Cannon Pod. Also, of course, can't forget Chris Abbott, everything you're up to at Starraptor, twitter.com/Starraptor, STARRAPTER, and youtube.com/Starraptor, with all your reviews and reactions and recaps and whatnot there. Very blown through very quickly here. If audio is more your speed, look up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Tractor Beam Comics Reviews. Once this podcast is done, I will throw this up onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I do believe some other podcatchers get it as well, so please do check that out if that's how you prefer to engage us and to listen to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews. Also, Ion Cannon is there. I gotta get last week's episode up there, just remember. Last but not least, we are proudly part of the Star Wars Underworld Podcast Network. I was waving the Underworld banner at Comic-Con, and because we're part of the Underworld Network. And down below in the description, you got a link to the Discord server, which is always a fun place to be. Lots of conversations still going strong. Some movie nights, some game nights happening. So check it out down in the description below. And again, I was happy to be Underworld's presence at Comic-Con and Culture Slate's presence. Yeah. So
I mean, how far you've come, right? You are a purveyor on the outside periphery of listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
And then you are literally like the guy that was basically
the guy.
giving them all the inside scoops at said convention that
Yeah.
normally they would go to that nobody else went to. So it's like, wait, what's going on here?
That was it. That was the guy. It's fine. It was fun. Let me in for free. Got me into preview night. Not sure if preview night was worth it, but that's okay. It was good to get in.
I got to figure out. We're gonna have to have a conversation about that another day. Maybe next week when we only have one comic to talk about.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna go deeper into. I'm gonna briefly mention at the end all the reveals. Maybe talk a little bit about it, but I got this con card to get over. So again, we also have 3 books to talk about tonight. So might as well. And the book we've been waiting for, the moment we've been waiting for what, 4 years?
Years, something like
the
that.
finale. Yeah, so we'll let's kick this off here. High Republic, the finale, written by Kevin Scott, art by Marika Cresta, colors by Jim Campbell, letters by VC's Ariana Marr, and cover by Phil Noto. The end of the beginning. The final battle between the Jedi and the Nile has been fought. Sacrifices have been made, and the dust settles. As friends and allies gather for one last celebration, a decision is made and a fate sealed. Guest starring faces from across the best-selling multimedia initiative, all roads lead to Dalna. And just even the way I'm saying it, it's sad, it's heartfelt, but we knew it was coming. Keeve Trennis. There's no what's so stunning about this, the way Kevin wrote this. There's no number of things that are so stunning about this. There's no moment where she says, I'm leaving the order. No, like, in your face, whatever. It's she shows up, 4 months after all the whole settlement on Dalna is introduced, and she's not in her robes. I mean, Skier comments, "Where are your robes? What's going on?" But she said, "You'll be late for your transport." She shows up in just civilian other clothing, says to Skier, "You'll be late for your transport. Get back to Coruscant." And why not we? We're not coming. Why not? And then she proceeds to go into what, of course, was built up. That what if this whole war against the Nile what has left its mark on the Jedi and who the Jedi are, and she goes into what if it happens again? What if they're Jedi leading, commanding armies and wielding lightsabers in anger? She's of course talking about the Clone Wars without knowing about it.
Yeah.
And the whole, I mean, the final straw in the coffin was when final nail in the coffin was when Lorna takes the shot against that child of the storm, child of the nameless, the one, the kind of the decisive shot, Hatar. And just even if you can call it a legitimate use of violence, it just it's the straw that breaks the camel's back for Keeve. That why are we in this position where we're using violence like this? She can't. She has to go and leave the order and not be under any kind of guardian protocols or anything other than say, I gotta stay on Dalna and help this rebuilding effort. And it's a really beautiful move. It's called the Beacon. Even Lena So sheds a tear about the name called the Beacon, as reference to Starlight Beacon, that Dalna is going to be this camp, this kind of DP camp for folks who have been displaced and lost their homes and everything from the Blight and the Nile and the war. And Keeve is there to lead that rebuilding. And it's as civilian Keeve Trennis, as we knew would happen. She hands the lightsaber to Yoda. We know Yoda takes it to the temple for safekeeping, where certain Padawan named Dooku and certain Padawan named Sifo Dyas will find it, or find at least the information about her. And it was such a beautiful, poignant moment. And here's what really stands out to me about that is, it's Kevin talks about the large scale, the big picture, right? The Jedi being in this position where they're going to have to use violence again, and they're going to be under the thumb of the Republic, and they're going to be, I mean, we know, and Kevin knows, they're going to be in the situation where they'll be in the wrong place at the wrong time for the Sith, this even greater terror that Keeve refers to to have their revenge and to take them out, and take them out effectively from within, in a way. And so, yes, it's the large scale, but it's written within this interaction between Keeve and Skier. It's written with this character moment, this character bond that we've had since all the way back issue number 1 of Marvel's High Republic by Captain Scott. It's her whole growth all the way to the end with Skier, and with Lorna there too, and Yoda. But that beautiful ending of, Skier. He's the delegate now, the liaison to Dalna, a role that he basically makes up on the spot. And Yoda's okay, do your thing. And this poignant moment of, so Keeve's the speaker, meaning she can tell Skier what to do, and he's all, what else is new? It's little humor in there. And then she says, let's get to work, Dad. And just bringing that home. I mean, this adult father-daughter relationship that, of course, Padawans and Masters develop is now, this continue. And it gets named. It gets named. And that Keeve and Skier are there together. That's this wonderful ending. Even if Keeve and the Jedi aren't together, Keeve and Skier still are. And so it says there are multiple possibilities. There are possibilities beyond the Order. It is still sad. It's sadder than, say, Lula, who lost her just lost a lot of her memory. It's lot less sad than, say Dooku. This extreme contrast, right? And that's what the last thing that struck me, and then I'll throw it to you, Chris, that Cavan Keeve first mentions High Republic in this audio drama about the 20th Master leaving the Order. Dooku, Jedi lost, and he does it, we know, with Tales of the Empire, or Tales of the Jedi rather, that for their more complicated reasons, but he effectively does it so he can make lots of money. let's be clear here, so he can inherit his family's estate on Sereno. But but Keeve does it because she needs to be able to serve. It's a lot more like Ahsoka, right? It's a lot more like that. So just being reminded of Yoda coming across the bust of Keeve. I think I read that somewhere recently. Of course, it's been a while since I listened to that audio drama. I should listen to it again. It was sad that Keeve has to leave, but again, I'm so glad. It's one of those things where, again, you can predict it, but sorry, gotta breathe. You can predict it, but it's done in such a satisfying way that you don't mind that you predicted it. I don't mind that this is why. It's just because Cavan, it's not that it's predicted, it's just Cavan has written the story
I think
so well.
They subverted, I don't know, I think in my expectations, this has actually subverted what I thought would happen. I'll let you continue your thought.
Well, no, I'm basically done.
Okay.
I thought, it was so wonderfully written, and kind of answered this kind of narrative question, story question of, is this going to be enough? These 29 pages, and it turns out it was. Just because by making it such a character-focused thing between Keeve and Skier, really boiled it down small, just a lot like Trials of the Jedi does. But in this 29-page comic, it boils it down to this character moment, and therefore it doesn't. And as a conclusion to, especially Fear of the Jedi and the audio drama, Tempest Breaker. It was a really satisfying ending. So those are my thoughts. 10 out of 10, 42 out of 10. Amazing work by Cavan. Kind of want to know what's next, but I don't need to, like you're saying. So those are my thoughts. What did you expect, and how did it upend your expectations?
Yeah, I totally expected her to go the way of Ernestra Rome, become a way seeker, and be like Ty York, just going out there by herself with her own ship. Just
Mhm.
maybe she's not a Jedi, but like she's going to continue to like fight for good, or do something more like as a mercenary.
Interesting.
And if that was the case, I'd be like, okay, we're going to get like a series of comics, or maybe even a
Mhm.
book trilogy or something about like her adventures after she leaves the Order. And that was like my focal point, because Kevin Scott kept like talking about, oh, there's might be more. It's like, well, who's his favorite character? Basically her. So it's going to be about her probably. But then the ending came, and I was like, oh crap, there's really no reason to revisit her again. Like, she's perfectly content where she is. She's not in any combat situation. Her role, she gave up her lightsaber. She changed her appearance. She's just going to be like the person in charge of Dalna. So the way I look at it is like, that's her ending. Like, she's going to eventually pass away of old age. Like, she's going to be there probably the rest of her life. And she's got to have a happy memory with her time as a Jedi, and she'll see the Jedi from time to time. So it's not like, she's taking the Barash vow or something where she's totally in isolation. Like, it's probably the best of both worlds. She doesn't have to deal with the anguish of seeing the foreshadowing and the writing on the walls of the Jedi, because she's separated enough that she can still talk to her friends. So I thought it was really good, and it's like a good juxtaposition for how issue number 1 starts, where it's like her, and she has become a Jedi Knight at the end of it, and she's young and she's brash, and there's like moments of like pure aggression when she's fighting a Drengir, and like so many things happen to where she is now even offered a seat on the Jedi Council as a master of like on the Jedi Council, and she seems like this is quite the character arc. Like, you get to see how reserved she is now, how at peace she is, and like she's got the emotion. She's not stoic as like Kaidi Mundi. Like, she's got tears. Like, she's human, and she understands emotion. And to see her that way, I was like, wow, this is, like you said, it's pretty much a perfect ending for this character. And there's not much else to say, because, as you said, they focused on her, so we don't really see much else in this comic. It was nice to see like the characters in the background. We even get to see a character from Young Jedi Adventures with Nubs in there. So,
and Kai, I think Nubs and Kai are in there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up the hardcover, the hard copy of it soon, probably on Friday, so I can put together my entire. I'm gonna have an entire long box of every High Republic comic, and I'm gonna get an entire box of every novel. I'm going to stash them away for a rainy day, and when I feel like picking them up, I'll have easy access to all that content, because there's a lot of content. But today we're just talking about this very comic, and I was trepidatious as well, as I was the one who brought up the point originally. Like, all right, Fear the Jedi, kind of surface level with Keeve. We've seen some moments of contemplation and things like that, but it was more of an ensemble story. How are you going to tie it together in this one shot that's going to be the finale and the beacon, like all these massive proclamations of what the hell is going to happen in the final issue, but also the way to close out the High Republic. Not only did we get a good central story, but we got a good ending for the High Republic. Again, another coming full circle moment of Dalna as this planet that was ravaged by the Nile, that volcanic eruption basically kept it inhospitable, and now they're able to terraform it with these plant-like Jedi people. People.
Yeah. From the audio drama, right? Oh no, from Fear of the Jedi. For both.
Yeah, but then.
Sorry.
Yeah, then you get Lena So, and I mean, she is the big, person of the Republic, the leader of the Republic. Get to acknowledge her for her final time. Of okay, this is huge for her. She's got, like you said, the tears in her eyes. We're getting to see this is a good conclusion for this era. If they want to have more stories, we'll have them about Aslan Rel. We'll have them about Silas chasing him across the galaxy, which has to freaking happen. I mean, that's talk about your top 5. Like, how does the High Republic continue? That's got to be number 1 on the list. So a great conclusion for now, as it says, and at the end he says, or is it the beginning? Yeah, the beginning of a wonderful life for a lot of these Jedi that don't have to worry about the struggle, and they could be at peace and live and die in normal ways, and not dying from horrible violence.
Let's hope. I mean, they can always show some stories, and every story needs some tension. But yeah, it's definitely poetic. I mean, even with Donald, even to phase 2, going all the way back to the beginning, time wise.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
this is, it's this interesting full circle, because the Nile starts out as this really peaceful path of the open hand, where they're just this out on this farm out on the outskirts of town and kind of minding their own business until they can't. But it, yeah, really, start, this peaceful agrarian community, and now we have not quite an agrarian community, but again, this more peaceful, serene. I mean, it's the hard work of rebuilding a community, rebuilding people's lives after this displacement. But what a great place to do it, right? Who knows? The caves down there. Who knows what's going on in those caves? But yeah, bringing in those terraforming folks. Really. Again, in terms of a narrative bow, it really, like you said, it's a great settling place, if you will, kind of like end of Return of the Jedi, which we know, of course, what happens there. But the narrative ends at the end of Return of the Jedi in the way it does. So yeah, the great, again, 10 out of 10, 42 out of 10. What a way to finish. Again, I finished the story. I'm like, again, they did it. They actually did it. I can't believe they actually finished this well. Yeah.
I yelled, and my girlfriend was downstairs, and like, I finished all the High Republic. Oh my god! I had like this moment where I went, it is fully complete. I've read every single thing. I even put out a post on Twitter. I said, hey guys, I reviewed every single thing.
Reviewed everything. Yeah.
Ever came out. I'm like, I feel like I created such a like I ran a marathon or something.
Yeah.
Like I did it, man. I finished it all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's true. It's an accomplishment for us too. We've all just stuck it out, and
not really. And for those that are finished with it, there's 2 recommendations I have. One of them is the book I had in my hand at the beginning of this. Mm-hmm. This book here feels more like a prequel.
Is Wayseeker or Crystal Crown?
The Crystal Crown.
Yeah.
Feels like a prequel to The Acolyte, and like if you love The Acolyte, you're probably really going to enjoy this book from what I've read so far. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is, I'll talk about the Wayseeker novel. Yeah. Now that feels like an epilogue to Trials of the Jedi in the best way. There's so many characters that you'll catch up with that survived, everything that happened in that book. So for me that read it before the book, it was kind of underwhelming. Like, darn it, I know that person lived, that person lived. But there's like moments where like these people are teaming up. Yeah. And they're reminiscing about, like 80 years ago. Right. So I think that should be on your top of your list right now to go ahead and start with that, like,
so I have the copy over there.
Yeah, because it definitely is like a good epilogue in a way that this kind of was. It's going to be a good epilogue. More of a tie to that than it does to The Acolyte, in my opinion. Yeah,
that's good. I mean, Vern's on the cover. So, I mean, any last thoughts? I mean, we're going to probably have lots more to say about High Republic. Maybe next week, among other things.
A whole show on like that,
Yeah, for sure.
I have too much to say right now for 2 other books to read, so I think we'll just save that for a rainy day.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. We can move along up to a brand new story set during the prequel era. It's Hyperspace Tides of Terror. Hyperspace Stories, Tides of Terror, #1, written by Calvin Scott's buddy George Mann, art by Luis Morocco and Lebo Underwood. Colors by Michael Attier, letters by friend of the show, Comicraft's Tyler Smith and Jimmy Betancourt, and cover by Eduardo Mello and Valentina Tadeo. Jedi Master Kit Fisto has been sent to the ocean planet Torbus alongside Mace Windu and Shak Ti to investigate a controversial underwater research facility. But when disaster strikes, his diplomatic excursion quickly becomes a rescue mission. Kit Fisto and his fellow Jedi must race against the clock to save innocent lives from the hungry leviathans that circle in the depths. this is a fun one. I'll throw it to you, Chris. What did you think of Tides of Terror #1?
Oh, this is exactly what Star Wars comics should be doing right now. Now that the High Republic is finished, now that we're in this little holding zone, let's shine the light on characters and time periods that we are not familiar with as much as we should be.
Sure.
So pre-Clone Wars, post-Phantom Menace, I'm assuming it's not before Phantom Menace, probably in that 10-year gap somewhere in there. We got freaking Nadar from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. Like, have you ever had a story on this guy? Like, this is great.
Nope.
Like, Lucasfilm needs to start doing more of this. I'm tired of seeing Obi-Wan, tired of seeing Han Solo. Let's get these ancillary characters and start building them already, guys. It's been like 14 years now. Maybe not that long. But anyway, so I'm just relieved to see stuff like Kit Fisto, Mace Windu. When's the last time we had a comic with Shakti? You know, that's well, actually a couple months ago we did, right, with Qui-Gon and her.
Yeah, and Jedi. But
still, that's good too, though. Like, this is what I like to see. This is why comics excel. You talk about the old Dark Horse comics. People love the idea that Quinlan Voss and all these other characters are running around those Republic comics. Dark Horse is doing it again with these, and it's great to see the connective tissue of looking at Nadar as an impulsive Jedi Padawan that is hack and slashing and then getting reprimanded by Mason Kit Fisto, saying, hey, look, like, you know, these guys, these creatures are, you know, they're creatures, they kill people and stuff, but that doesn't mean you have to kill them. You know, we're the saviors of peace and justice and all that sort of thing. We don't want to kill life, we can save it, you know. So I like those wise words of advice. But I also love the idea of, hey, let's have an entire adventure underwater. Like, just in time for summer, going to the beach, blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is a great timing for a story like this to come out because it shines a light in a different kind of ecosystem that we're not used to seeing all the time. Brings back memories of the Clone Wars Season 4 of, you know, the Mon Cala versus the Quarren. And we actually get to see another Quarren in this. And all that. So, and it's got that impeding doom. Like, I love the feeling of reading this comic book knowing something was going to go wrong. Oh yeah, we're perfectly safe here. Oh yeah, we got all this defensive technology, barriers will be perfectly fine. Don't worry, those giant shark things, they're not going to hurt you at all. Then somebody must have sabotaged the station or something, because doesn't look like that was just caused by that. It looks like an actual explosion went off. So it's the Zorfin, that's the name of these things. But yeah, we're talking about the planet of Tortoise, which is something new. I do like the political stratification that is happening, where it's like you have some people are like, let's save, like preserve the ancient like Atlantean type of civilization that they have, and others are trying to exploit it. So there's a little bit more depth to this story, and the fact that George Mann is writing it, we know we're going to get into some cool lore eventually in the story. But I think the way they set it up in this first of 4 issues is a good way to kind of be like, okay, we are dealing with these different characters here. This is not your Obi-Wan, your Anakin. We're catching up with these guys. So I really enjoyed the first issue for that matter.
Yeah, the setting, the tension there is interesting because it's two good things of, you know, wanting to understand this ancient civilization and wanting to protect these animals, these creatures in the ocean here. Now, because, like you're kind of implying there, because the archaeological efforts are harming these creatures, maybe they're cutting some corners here, right? Making some trying to make a quick buck. And yeah, that definitely does seem like a bit of eco-terrorism. Wouldn't be surprised. But for an all-ages comic, you know, I mean, that's par for the course going that deep in all-ages comic. I do think it's probably going to come back to kind of like the Purrgil. These are almost not quite sentient creatures, but almost very worth protecting, and so they're just hungry and scared. They're not actually necessarily that dangerous. So we'll see where that goes, and what kind of lesson for Nadar is in store, but probably not, because that's the thing. He stands out as the when he gets gunned down by the separatists because he tries to stand up in front of them and when I was pretty sad and impulsive of him even then. So even a few years later. So but on the other hand, just from the panel on Friday, Kevin was saying, he wanted to, that moment in the Clone Wars arc where Kit Fisto just looks to the camera and smiles his wide grin smile. He wanted to write a comic, or I guess George was saying this. Sorry, George was the author. George was saying he wants to write a comic that's basically that moment. So it might be a bit lighter, a bit more levity, which we got in this issue a little bit. Kit Fisto, with Kit Fisto and being, cracking jokes and easing the tension.
He even got Mace Windu to smile. I don't know if I've ever seen that guy smile before. It blew my mind. I'm like, wait, what?
The purple grumpus, and got the purple grumpus to smile. There we go. It's there isn't too much to say, just that it's a good setup here for a 4-issue arc. Like you said, you're gonna have probably some interesting lore. Who knows what? But again, a fun, exciting start to this adventure. And like you said, underwater, we only got that in the Clone Wars. Of course, best to have Kit Fisto, have a Nautolan and he's a Mon Cala Jedi. But then Mace Windu and Chuck D are there, which should be interesting. Just their different experiences. The last thing to say then is this question of diplomacy versus impulsiveness, and we'll see Kit Fisto. Well, we already have started to see Kit Fisto have that wise, patient, calm that Nadar needs to learn, but also it's Nadar's sensitivity. He can sense the creatures out there, and then Kit Fisto and the other Jedi are able to, knowing things aren't as peaceable as they seem, and so that will hopefully come into play in terms of why Jedi are there in the first place. I mean, we talked about Jedi with Keeve. Here is where they're how they're good for among the Republic. Of course, we'll see that a few years later on Naboo. But I think that's all I've got with this one. Trying to get over my con crud here. Anything more to say about Hyperspace Stories, Tides of Terror?
We got Poe Dameron. We got Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Now we have this.
Yep.
Dark Horse is killing it, man. I gotta say, all ages is with Dark Horse. I love it. Mm-hmm. We're not getting these one-off stories that are kind of important in a way. We're getting full-fledged fun stories that are that I'll look fondly back on, because they're more planned out in a way where it's okay, we got this one writer, got this vision, just like I said, George Mann up there has an idea, shoots the Dark Horse, hey, make that a 4-issue series. Cool. Let's keep it brief. We'll get it in and out in 4 months. We'll go to the next one. I love that. I love that speed.
And just that they're longer, that they're not half an issue, or a single issue. Makes it feel more important. I mean, the more time you have with something, the more important it is in your mind. So there you go. All right. Lastly, before we get to a bit of the news, Chelly time. Dr. Aphra, Chaos Agent number 2. This is written by Cherish Chen, art by Gabriel Guzman, colors by Michael Attier, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna, and cover by Ejikur. Dr. Aphra and Luke Skywalker together again on the distant world of Argao. Luke Skywalker and Dr. Aphra track down a valuable artifact. An unstable underworld collector has a different plan for them. Will the New Republic's newest agent betray her Jedi friend for a chance at the prize? No, she won't. And here's the thing. This was the main thought here I had with this is finally really seeing Aphra, Chelly, and Luke clicking. Their relationship is to the point where they're really more on the same page, in that Aphra, Chelly is really more invested in succeeding in the mission. I got that sense, right? Even the point where pointing out to Luke, okay, you got your wide-eyed sky guy thing going on, whatever. I mean, that's his father, but the farm boy thing going on. Let me do the talking here. Let me take this. Just give me all your credits, so I can go win the sabak hand. But they definitely complement each other very well, and that she isn't fighting against that anymore. She isn't being so sarcastic and sarnok. At the same time, she is using her underworld experience, her kind of rough and tumble. If he hasn't shot me or I haven't shot at him, must be new kind of experience there. And so, yeah, it was nice to see. It was refreshing to see that they're able to go and actually in one issue find the guy and be able to bring him in, whereas I think previous times she'd be more resistant to Luke. She's now more realistic about law-abiding New Republic citizens. She's not cynical, and so I think I like to see her being chaotic good. I don't think she needs to be lawful good, but fun to see her being chaotic good, if I can use that kind of grid. This evolution. I was a little disappointed that this is it for her and Luke. I wanted to see more, but next up is Han, which is going to be really fascinating because she's sort of this. She takes the Han archetype and runs with it. So we've never seen the two of them work together. So that'll be fascinating. But yeah, she grabs that Alderaanian blaster, very much like Jyn Erso, right? Where'd you get that blaster? And then do you know what that does? And it just blows a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Speak English, and takes out the guy's collection. But yeah, it was fun, but also continuing to track Chellie's character towards how is she integrating her past with her future. Right, we know her future is with the heroes, with the Republic, with the New Republic, or not necessarily with the New Republic, but sort of with the heroes, with heroism, and yet where she comes from is going to be more skeptical and more realistic about, what just being the polished, rule-abiding, playing by the rules all the time is going to get you. She's going to be able to bend some corners there, or cut some corners in a good way, not the way the folks on that water planet are doing, but cut some corners and maybe get the job done in ways. I mean, that's the thing with this whole Dagger organization. It's kind of feels like Section 31 vibes, if I can bring in the Star Trek reference, but not entirely, because that it's even less, makes even less sense for a shady organization. They're just kind of special ops trying to find these artifacts, and Chellie really hopefully finding a place there. And then lastly to say, okay, again, the thing with the tattoos, it would have been nice if we had seen them really in action more to know what she's missing. But maybe this is how they're telling the story of what she's missing, or tell the story of how important they are by telling how much she misses them, and she's going to really want to use them when she gets them back. So that, I mean, the symbol of her learning to be chaotic good is when she gets those back. So yeah, good issue number 2. Cherish Chen, new to Star Wars here. Definitely not new to comics, but new to Star Wars, and just jumping right in with what Alyssa's set up, with what Kieran Gillen set up, and keeping it going in this new era. So those are my thoughts on Chaos Agent number 2. What have you got?
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit more down on it than you are, honestly. I just can't. There's something about this run of Aphra now, we're 2 issues in. Something feels off, man. I just don't have that classic Aphra, and I think it's the supporting characters. I think when Alyssa Wong and when oh my goodness, what's the creator?
Not Kieran Gillen, but the other one.
Kieran Gillen, but the other guy as well.
Yeah.
There's always such a strong outing of supporting characters, whether it be the droids, whether it be her love interests, and we're missing that. And I feel like it's like making the character feel a little blander to me. And it just, maybe she's just matured more. She's not as zany and stuff as she used to be. But and she's also acting against Luke, who's pretty reserved and relatively boring for the most part. He's not super exciting at this point of his life. He's much more a Jedi Master and much more like that, right? So for me, it just feels like I want more out of the character a little bit right now. I feel like I want a little bit more from the story, and not only that is like, oh man, there's a lot of dialogue bubbles, a lot of exposition, a lot of talking in this, and it just bogs down the pacing for me a lot. Like the ratio of the bubbles to the artwork is like a lot. So and I just get the feeling that this might only be a mini series. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing's only like 5 or 6 issues, if I'm being honest, because it seems at the clip that which these things are going, like we're already resolved this thing in like 2 issues. Luke's gone out of the picture. Han's gonna come in. I feel like this is like the greatest hits of like her teaming up with like the legacy characters, and like once that's over, like the thing is kind of done. You know, I heard some things around the grapevine with this comic, how it's not selling very well. Like it hasn't gotten a second printing or anything for the first issue or anything like that. And some of the variant covers, the 1 in 25 is like all the local shops don't even have it because it's not selling enough. So that's kind of telling. So I'm just thinking like this is going to be maybe like a 6 to 10 issue series. It'll come in quick, easy. It's just going to tell her story about how she's cooperating with the New Republic. The thing that resonated with me that we haven't really seen before, oddly enough, is the thing about Luke Skywalker, not actually about Dr. Aphra. It's the idea of like everybody knows who Luke is. And like he is like the famous guy that defeated the Empire, essentially. And it's funny that people like recognize him, they're glorifying him, and we just haven't really gotten that in like in the universe in Star Wars before. So that's definitely something that stood out to me. That alongside the Men in Black Alderaanian pistol moment of like the cricket gun from that movie, essentially is like just blowing a hole through the wall. So that was pretty fun.
It definitely feels certain now that Luke's switching over to Han, feels more like an anthology a little bit, just more episodic, if you will. So I think that can I think that gives the feel that it's shorter. If we had more adventures with Luke, that would have time to mature. But I do see what you mean, in that it's very much Luke and Shelley, all the supporting cast. The thing is that the supporting cast has had all this time to develop their own stories, right? With Tolvan and Santa and her father, and I think this is maybe a bit of a transitional thing. It's also another way of showing, like you said, what is it like to be these big 3 characters in the New Republic. We're of course getting that in Alex Segura's comic. Who knows how long that's going to be, but that's also a very specific storyline happening in a specific corner of the galaxy that isn't too hot about the New Republic. So this is a nice contrast. I love how they were referring to him as, in the way that High Republic they would have, like Jedi Skywalker, which we don't hear that much in in more even in the late Republic. We don't hear Jedi Kenobi and Jedi Jin. We don't hear that. We heard Jedi Trennis. We heard Jedi Silas, but no, it's Jedi Skywalker. So that is new and different. We haven't even seen that. Definitely haven't seen that on screen. So different little things to explore. I do get what you mean, that it'll probably be a shorter run, but I enjoyed it. I get what you're saying, but I don't know if you have any further thoughts. Hello there.
Any other thoughts? I kept this one kind of brief. I just thought they were a good team working together. Like they actually were very efficient at the job, and they solved it in the end. And it was a cool like story. And I'm not saying the story was bad. I'm just saying what I know about Dr. Aphra. It's like this feels a little different for me, and I'm like not sure if I'm driving it. But if I look at the story as a whole, it's like this is a really good story because it kept me on my toes. It was like they're doing that code language with like the tapping on the table and they're playing sabacc or whatever, and then And then they totally caught the guy red-handed. He was
Yeah.
like, they're like, how'd you know about that? He's like, oh crap. And then it just starts going. And then Luke's got his lightsaber out, and he's like, Aphra's there. It was like, Aphra gets punched, but she doesn't go down. And it was a really good like little scuffle there, and it was cool to be like, okay, that's another mission succeeded for the New Republic Dagger organization or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's a well-paced story. Again, I think we're gonna have to find Chelly's gonna have to find out who she is if she isn't so cynical and sardonic, and so we're also gonna have to find out, and the writers are gonna have to find out what does it mean for her to not be so much, to have her edge softened a little bit, hopefully not completely, because she's still useful and still part of who she is. But yeah, it is different. It is unusual to see it. I think Alyssa really paved the way for it with the supporting characters. See, even all the way up to the end of their run and the end of with Dark Droids and all that. So, I guess just before Dark Droids, but yeah, I'm happy with it. See where it goes. We'll find out. All right. Any last thoughts on that before we very briefly get to the next topic?
Oh, I'm ready for it. I've been waiting for this. I gotta get the comic book report from the man on the place himself. The man that was actually there. I mean,
So first off, I'll address this fact here. We were gonna do a bit longer, but again, I got con credit, and I gotta take it easy. So we only have one book next week. I'll get to that in a second. But yes, I was there. Was that in the room with George Lucas? It was amazing. And in the room on Friday, Joel and I will talk more about that on Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. And then next week we'll do a much deeper dive into all this comics news at San Diego. But let's we can do a little bit quickly here. Bunch of things. This is mainly the Friday morning Lucasfilm Publishing panel. There was another one of Star Wars Penguin Random House Worlds. It's kind of a bit of overlap there, but yeah, it was. They just kind of did both. But so we're going to focus on comics primarily. A few things to note. Bad Batch. This is the big thing for me, at least, is Bad Batch Rogue Agents coming December 2025. The reason the big thing for me is because, like I said, after Ghost Agents, I want more. I want more of these stories. So yeah, Michael Morrissey is giving us more in December. Of course, the new Bad Batch Sanctuary novel is coming out in a few weeks, in 2 weeks, and
1 week. It's out next week, I believe.
So next week, whatever week it is, whatever. Yeah, it was Friday. That's right. On Friday, they would have said 2 weeks. Okay, fine, a week and a half. Mark Thompson doing an amazing job with all the voices. I'm doing that on Audible.
Oh.
Is Mark Thompson basically being the second coming of D. Bradley Baker?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's amazing.
Download that on Spotify too, then.
Yeah, maybe Spotify too. Also, to point out, finally, Hyperspace Stories Grievous, also by Michael Morrissey. It's good to go. It's coming.
Get it out now, not wait like.
It's coming in a year. It's coming in half a year. It's already July, early 2026. But they gave us interior art. It's good to go. Finally, fair enough. Next up, and again, I'll show you all these internals next week. But so stay tuned. Stay tuned. Return to the Nightlands. So Tales from the Nightlands. We've talked about that in September. Got a deeper look of internal art there. The Nightlander is this terrible, beautiful specter from the dead, and got a great, brilliant image of Luke and Vader in issue number 2. So, again, check that out. Lastly, sorry guys. I'm telling you, I'm sick. I'll be okay. There we go. Gotta bring this one in. This is why. Charles Soule teasing Legacy of Vader and where it's going. Kylo and he talked about how we already saw in issue number 6 Grandea, Order 66 Survivor. Very quickly, at the speed I'm talking now, he said, "Gonna probably I think he mentioned Lando, I think,
What?
and then I think I could be wrong, but that he mentioned somebody in between, and then he mic dropped by saying Luke is coming at the end. So
Oh,
probably a Force Ghost."
yeah.
Is a variant of Vader and Luke with Kylo there. So that's
Oh my.
he didn't say the end, but I'm guessing, I'm speculating that that's the end of the run. So yeah. So again, we'll go into all that more next week while I mute myself so I can do hack and cough. What do
Okay.
you think of all this news?
Yeah, I'm more curious about things that weren't said because I need to know about what the Star Wars ongoing's doing. Did they talk about anything at all with
Not a
regards
peep.
to-
Not a
What?
peep about Alex Segura's run.
That's not good. That's their flagship. How are they not going to tell us about a?
Not a peep. So I mean, Alex wasn't even there. So
Yeah.
hopefully he'll be at New York.
Batch,
So good.
you know, I'm saying it's like Bad Batch is like firing on all cylinders. We had the comics in like a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Novels coming out this week, and then we have another comic miniseries coming out at the end of the year. It's like, whoa. It's almost like they're gearing up to like revive the show or something, you know, with all this ancillary material.
Yeah.
I'll take another season. Come on, bring them back.
Sure.
Like I thought for sure that's where they were going next with their next animated series. Is like,
Yeah.
let's just go like 5-6 years in the future and tell a story about what they're doing with the rebellion. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, some pretty exciting, nothing too groundbreaking, earth shattering, but exciting news. I was excited to hear about Rogue Agents, and of course, yeah, I mean, like the Legacy Vader and Tales from the Nightlands.
Anything about Jedi Knights?
Nope, nothing really. I mean, Mark wasn't there. Ethan, I think I saw him on the show floor, writing Poe Dameron. Ethan's coming to Fan Expo Canada. That's good. Yeah, nope, that's basically what you see is what you get. Nothing about anything else, but yeah, there's a bit of book news that Joel and I will also talk about Monday. Also, some of these comics news as well, and then yes, of course, next week when I'm better and when we only have Legacy of Vader to talk about. We'll talk more about.
There we go.
San Diego Comic-Con. Legacy of Vader, looking forward to this Order 66 arc.
Yeah, I mean, drop that cliffhanger with that Jedi taking the saber going, hey, you want to talk? It's like, oh, damn.
Yeah, so there you go. Check out your local comic book shop for that book and for the books we talked about today. Wednesdays are for comics. Comics are for Wednesdays. Coming off of San Diego Comic-Con, looking ahead, New York Comic-Con's only in a few months. Fan Expo Canada is in 1 month's time. I will be there with bells on, not literally. But Chris, you're going to New York Comic-Con, right? I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I will probably not be, but that's okay. So stay tuned next week, and then over the next few weeks, got some fun things to announce there. So, yeah, check it out. Keep it locked. But for now, I think that does it. I'm gonna have some honey and tea and rest my voice. Chris, thanks again for popping on. This is the 91st episode you and I have done together.
Oh,
we're coming up to 100. So coming up on 100. So there we go. We'll do something special.
Hey, this is what we do, man. When Star Wars is on hiatus, there's no shows, there's no movies for the foreseeable future.
Yep.
Again, it's the best place to be if you're a Star Wars fan. Be into publishing, be into comics and novels.
There's
all
a new
stuff, because this stuff keeps on rolling, whether you know about it or not. This stuff is going to move forward with storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Now the High Republic is over, so it's like, oh man, like now we're really going into uncharted waters. Well, what's next? You know.
Yeah. There's a new Star Wars story every Wednesday, every single Wednesday.
Yep.
For now until who knows when. So, it's just in a different medium. I read it on a screen. You pull up a screen. I read it on a screen. But you don't have to. But still, with incredible talented artists, incredibly talented writers. Keep on coming back. That's our pitch for Star Wars comics. But yeah, go to where are we here? Sorry, I'm trying to find this thing. There it is. Yeah, Legacy Vader, number 7. Again, cinematic story by Charles Soule. Check that out next week, and the more in depth on these Comic-Con reveals. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to say, where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, youtube.com/StarRaptor. Recently, I did a review for Superman. Really love that movie. I also see Fantastic Four, which I really liked as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have stuff about video games, a lot of video games I've been playing throughout the summer here. Keeping up to speed with that, as well as skateboarding and different things. You can follow all that actually up to the minute coverage over on twitter.com/StarRaptor for my social media. But yeah, it's been good to get back to it. Now we're in the single issue phase. So I think in the next 3 weeks we have just single issues coming out for the month of August.
Yep.
So that'll be good. We'll be able to dive a little deeper, take our time with those issues. So that'll be good. Nothing's worse than getting like the 5 issues in 1 week.
Yeah, those are enough. That was a lot, but yeah, it'll be good to get dive into stories. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at MNUG1138, and Instagram at beaches.foodie. I will have I should put my San Diego Eats post up tonight. I'll do that tonight as well. Check that out. Lots of great food in San Diego. So fun. Yeah, and check out everything I posted again on Instagram at the SWU and at Culture Slate. And you can find Joel and me. We're chatting back on the Ion Cannon podcast at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, Monday night, and then Chris and I will be back at it next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. But until then, happy reading.